At least 7 people, including 2 children, are dead after Russia hit an apartment complex in Kharkiv this morning with a drone. A drone video shows part of the building collapsed and burning. Kharkiv police say 5 drones hit the building at dawn, killing an entire family. Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell is in Kyiv for more on that. Ian, Ukraine's Air Force says Russia launched 140 drones and 4 missiles across the country overnight. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, and including that devastating strike on the residential apartment complex in Kharkiv. They also hit elsewhere in the country, and this has been the pattern pretty much every single night for 3.5 years. And that's why Ukrainians don't trust any promises by Vladimir Putin, why they are skeptical of President Trump's assurances, repeating again at that press conference in Alaska that he's trying to save thousands of Ukrainian lives, and so is Vladimir Putin. Ukrainians just simply don't believe it, and they have good evidence to argue against that. So that is the situation here. They're still fighting on the front line. There are still attacks by Putin, even on the very day that their president is going to meet with Donald Trump to try and talk about a peace deal.
All right, Ian Pannell in Kyiv for us. Thank you. And let's bring in ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy for more on this. Mick, what do these strikes tell you about the state of the war after the summit between Trump and Putin?
Well, Dan, this is what's going to be of great concern to President Zelenskyy and the European leaders that are visiting Washington and the White House today. They're concerned that without this ceasefire, that President Putin, Russia, can simply use these negotiations as a delaying tactic, where they'll continue to try to seize territory and terrorize civilians. And these attacks on these apartments indicate that's exactly what he intends to do. Without this ceasefire, without the actual pause in the fighting, it's going to be very difficult for both sides to actually get to a point where they can concede and actually have a negotiated settlement to this.
Mick, President Trump repeated that Ukraine will not be allowed to join NATO, but the White House says the U.S. could offer Article 5-like protection. So how would that work, and what are you watching for during today's meeting?
That's right, Diane. People are referring to this as the Finland-type agreement before Finland joined NATO. It all depends on what the specifics are of that. If it's Article 5 type, to me, that indicates some kind of treaty, so some kind of binding obligation, not just an executive order, but something that indicates to the Ukrainians who would be ceding territory under this plan that they will actually get protected if something happens. It can't just be an assurance. The U.S. gave Ukraine assurances back in the 1990s when they gave up their nuclear weapons, and obviously that didn't help them. So this would be, I think, between the United States and Europe to make sure this happens. It would be binding, and it would likely include moving troops into Ukraine when the ceasefire or end of the hostilities happen, which would, of course, be a pretty significant physical buffer and a great indicator to Ukraine that we're willing collectively to come to their defense.
All right, Mick Mulroy, thank you.